So we just finished making our stack part file, so now we're going to make the work drawing. For this one, you're going to use size A paper, and I've already set it up. If you forgot how to do that, back in our puzzle cube unit, I have directions on how to set up your paper, depending on what size you need it to be, and to set up your title block. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to go to Base. And because I already have my stack part file open, it pre-selected it for me. If you did not do that, then you're either going to open it before you start your work drawing, or you can click on this little folder with magnifying glass and then find your part. So for this one, I'm going to shift it over to the side. I'm now going to add in a top view. I'm going to add in a bottom view, and for some of you that's going to be a little bit new. And then I'm going to add in our isometric view. Instead of adding in the right side, I'm going to add it in differently in a minute. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to make sure that this is shaded. Alright, so far it's looking very similar to what you guys are used to. And here's where the change is going to happen. Now we're going to do section. So when you click on the section tool, so I'm just going to hover over that for a second so it pops open. So what this one does is you draw a line through your part and you kind of slice it in half. Well, you slice it along the line, so the cutting plane line that we're going to be drawing in. So I want it on this view, so I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to make sure it's centered. See this green dot? Do not click on the green dot. This is one of the few times I'm going to tell you don't do that right now. You're going to move it above. See how we have that little dotted line? That lets us know we're still centered. So I'm going to click. We're going to move it down, make sure it's lined up. And again, don't go to the green dot, but go right underneath it. Click again. This time we're going to now right click and continue. So now you can see that we can see into our part, and if I move it back and forth, you can see the arrows change direction. So it's letting you know kind of what we got rid of and what we're keeping. So I'm going to put this right here. All right, now we can see we have our section lines, we have a little bit of a label, we have our scale, and you can see our scale matches the scale of our part because we didn't change the size of anything, we just sliced it open. Alright, so some new tools that you haven't used before. If we go into the Annotate tab, I'll show you these. We have our center mark tool. So for the center mark, it basically, well, gives you the center of it. So doing that, we can do that on this top one. So on our top view, if we click on the outermost circle, because these are all lined up perfectly, we just need to click on the outsidemost circle. Same thing with our bottom view. Because everything's lined up nicely, you just have to click on it once. So the next one, we have two different options to add in our centerline. We have centerline, where we just click on the top and bottom. Okay. And then we have centerline bisector. So you click on the two sides and it places it right in the center. So I'm going to show you centerline bisector first. So you can see how this one goes only through, well, this little section. So not quite as much as we want. We want it a little bit more. So I'm going to undo that. And this time I'm just going to use centerline instead of centerline bisector. Okay. So you're going to click on green dot. This is why you want green dot and green dot. Okay. The thing is, after those two clicks, it's still going to let you do more. The reason for that is if you have something in a circle. So I'm just going to click on another spot just to kind of give you the idea of the circle part. So if you have a whole bunch in a circle, once you do 3 clicks, that's where your circle is. But as you can tell, it's not quite what we want. So I'm going to put this back in properly. So click, click, right click, create. Now you can see how it's not stretching. So if we had another one we need to place in, we could place it in. So we're not going to place it on this one. In one of our other lessons, I believe it was in Unit 2, we went over which line takes precedent over which one, and our cutting plane line takes the place of all others. So therefore, our center line is not going to be on our front view. Okay, something else that's new for our tools, we have hole and thread. So there's two different places you can put this dimension that I'm adding in. I'm going to add it in one spot and then show you the other one. So one we can add it in is right here. So this just pulled in all the information for this. Okay, and I could pull in the same information over here. So depending on what you want to do, you'd either have it over here or over here. Pick one, not both. Okay, just one. So we have this part right here, shows us that we have a hole that was drilled in. And if you're wondering why the smaller one's on top, if you were machining this, you drill the small hole first, the one with the smaller diameter. So that would be the one that was machined first. And then you'd go back in and with the larger diameter. So this one's our counterbore. And we'd put in our counterbore part. So that's why it's smaller diameter first, then larger diameter. Okay. Another thing that's a little bit new is an angle. Okay. So for this one, again, if you're horrible at zooming like I am, the home tool will zoom to everything. Okay. So this is where you do not want these green dots. So avoid them. That's why I'm zooming in. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. And remember that 105 that we had before for our angle. Now we have that angle again. All right. And another thing a lot of you have come across but might not have realized it when you are dimensioning. So if you're dimensioning a circle, make sure you click on the edge, not one of the green dots, and then you want to make sure that this has an elbow to it. Okay. Yep. So I think that's all the new tools that we have for this one. So I know I didn't put everything in for you, but there's quite a few more that you're going to need to do. So don't forget to add the rest of your dimensions. If you're wondering why this is up, people in the past have stopped their dimensioning where the video ends. That is not the case. There is more work to be done, so please don't forget that. All right, good luck.